Hi guys, in this video I will show you how to create an animated navbar like this. As you can see, if we visit this page for first time, the header is coming from top to bottom. As you can see, if I refresh on it, the header is coming from top to bottom with bouncing effect, as well as the links are coming one by one. So if I refresh on it, you can see the links are coming from one by one like a slow-mo effect, as well as these vertical lines. And I also have a button with content VCV, and if I hover on it, the background color is changing from bottom to top. And if I don't hover on the button, you can see the default styles are coming. So let's create this animated navbar using Greensock animation platform. So first of all, let's open command prompt and create a folder by using mkdir command, and then name our folder like animated navbar. Now let's go inside this folder and open it in our VS Code by using code command, so that it will open our folder in VS Code. So now let's create a file with name animated navbar.html, as well as create a CSS file with name animated navbar.css. And now let's create a file with name animated navbar.js. So now let's create a boilerplate for our HTML file, and let's link our CSS file by using link tag, and then link our CSS file, as well as link our JavaScript tag by using script tag, and then use source. And let's add our JS file. After that, so first of all, let's create a header tag, and then inside I'm going to add navbar tag, and inside this I'm going to create links. So let's create four links, and then inside this let's add like home, skills, achievements, and then certifications. So after that, let's add a button with content like view CV. Now let's open it in our browser. So it looks like this. Let's change the background color. So let's go inside our CSS file, and then select body. I'm going to add a background color as some black color, and then I will change the font style with this font, so that our font will be changed, as well as the background color also applied. So now let's select this header by using header, and then let's give some padding of 10 pixels, as well as give some background color with some light gray color. Going to add some light gray color. So now if you see the output, it looks like this. As you can see, there is a small gap between our header as well as body. So let's remove that by using, so make this header position fixed, and then top 0 as well as left 0, so that now you can see the spaces are removed. Let's make this width 100%, so that it will output full width. So let's use width property and then make the value as 100%. So now it will looks like this. Let's give some padding for our header. So not header. Now let's select this nav, and then give some padding of 10 pixels, so that there will be a gap between our navbar as well as these links. So after that, let's select this anchor tags which are inside our nav tag. So let's add and then here let's make the color white using color property, and then this color. So as you can see, there is a underline for every anchor tag. Let's remove that by using text decoration property, and then make text decoration to be none, so that those underlines will be removed, as you can see. Now let's give some gap between every anchor tag. So all our anchor tags are inside this nav tag, we have to go inside this nav tag, make the display flex, and give some gap of 20 pixels. So now as you can see there is a gap between this every anchor tag. Let's make justify content space evenly. So after that it will take equal space between every element. So now you can remove this gap. It's looking good. So let's increase some font size for our anchor tags. Let's give some font size of 20 pixels. So now it's looking good. Now let's add a hovering effect. Like if we hover on this, some background color should be appeared. So for that we have to use a pseudo class called hover. On hovering the anchor tags, we are going to add a background color as black. So now let's check the output. So as you can see, after hovering on our links, we are getting some black background color, but there is a no space between our background color and text. So let's use padding inside our anchor tag and give some border radius of 10 pixels so that a rounded corners will be appeared. As you can see, a rounded background color and some space has added after adding these two properties. But as you can see, they are appearing very fast. So whenever we hover on it, instantly we are getting those background color. So to add a smooth effect, we have to use transition property here and then make as 0.5 seconds, as well as on hovering also we are going to add transition property and then 0.5 seconds. So after hovering on it, this background color black will be appeared after 0.5 seconds, so that it will make a smooth effect. Now as you can see, after hovering on it, we are getting the background color after 0.5 seconds. So now let's style this button tag. So our button is inside our nav tag. Select that button by using nav button and add some background to this button by using linear gradient. So I'm going to use tool left here and then blue violet and then deep pink. So tool left means so in the button from right to left. First this blue violet color will come and then after deep pink will be color in the left side, as you can see. So let's remove the border and increase the font size. Let's make the border none and then font size be some 22 pixels, and let's make the text to be bolder by using font weight, and then the text color should be white. So now it's looking good. Now let's give some border radius so that the rounded corners will come. So I'm going to use border radius of some 5 pixels for top left and some 15 pixels for top right and 5 pixels for bottom right and 5 pixels for bottom left. So it's looking like this after that. Now let's give some padding. So now it's looking good, I think. So now let's add animations for this by using GSAP. So to use GSAP, first we have to copy the CDN to our HTML document. So for that, just go to GSAP and just go to Google and search for GSAP CDN. After that, go to this link and then scroll down. Here you can get the CDN link. Just copy this and paste it inside our HTML document. So now we can use all the properties which are inside this GSAP. So now let's use GSAP inside our inside our JS file, because GSAP is a JavaScript animation library. So we have to write the code inside our JavaScript file. So let's enter GSAP and then dot. So in GSAP, let me write. In GSAP, we have a function called from. Inside this, the first parameter will be, we have to specify the first parameter with an HTML tag that we want to animate. Since I want to animate the header first, so I'm going to add header. So it should be in inverted commas if we type header directly without linking the HTML tag inside our JavaScript file. So let's link this header tag. Let's give some class name as header. Now let's link this HTML tag inside our JavaScript tag by using, I'm going to create a variable called header. Inside this, I'm going to select that header tag with class name header by using this document.querySelector property, and then here we have to specify the class name which is header. So now we can able to access this header inside our JavaScript file inside this header variable. So now you can remove this because now this header is a variable. We can use it without using inverted commas. So after that, the second parameter will be object. So inside this, I'm going to make the opacity to be 0 so that it will not be visible initially, and then after that you have to, you can specify duration for how many seconds you want to display the styles. I'm going to add 1, and then delay. So after this, so I'm going to add 1 second. So after 1 second these animations will come. So after that, what you can do, let's add y property, and then I'm going to add minus 100, which is minus 100 pixels. So let me open the browser whether it's working or not. As you can see, it is working. After refreshing it, it is coming from its original position, from its this position minus 100 pixels to our this tiles. So we are using from, right. So from this tiles to this tiles will be applied. But if you use 2 here, you can see it will be funny. From this it will go to up because we are using 2. So from this tiles to this tiles will be applied. Since we are using minus 100 pixels here, it will go up. It will go up from its original position. The original position of header is here, right? But we are giving minus 100 pixels. That's why it's going to the up. But if you use from here, from this tiles to this tiles will be applied. Here, if you see the output, you can see it is coming from this minus 100 pixels to its original position, which is at top 0. Now to make it more effective, we can is we can add a property called is, and then make it elastic. Sorry, this should be inside inverted commas. So now if you see the output, it will come like this, like bounce effect, as you can see. So now let's add styles to our links. So again, I'm going to use this gsap.from. So after that, simply remove. sim- So let's select all this anchor tags inside our JavaScript file by creating a variable called links, and inside this, I'm going to select all the links by using this property called querySelectAll, and then inside this we have to specify the tag we want. Since we want anchor tag, we have to specify a here. Now this link is referencing all these anchor tags inside our JavaScript file. So simply replace this header with links since we want to add animations to our anchor tags. So after that, let's make this delay 2 so that after header loaded, this anchor tags will be displayed. and then as it is, let's remove this. So now let's check the output. As you can see, after 2 seconds these links are getting appeared. Let's remove that. Let's change the delay from 2 to 1 so that it will come earlier, as you can see. But you can see all the links are coming at same time. If I refresh it, you can see all the links are coming at same time. But I want to display one by one, like first home and then skills and then achievements and then certification. So for that, you can simply use another property called stagger. And inside this, we want to display, we want to add how, between how many seconds we want to display the anchor tags. So now if you see the output, after every zero point 0.5 seconds, it will come. So first it will load home, and then after zero point 0.5 seconds skills, after zero point 0.5 seconds achievements, after zero point 0.5 seconds certifications. So as you can see, they are coming from top. So if you want to make that come from left to right, you can simply use X here. So if you use X, they will horizontally come. Since it is minus 100, it will go to the, it will come from left to right. So now if you see, if I refresh it, you can see they are coming from left to right. So if you want them to come from right to left, you can simply remove this minus from here. So now if we see the output, they will come from right to left. Since I want to make that come from top to bottom, I want to use y axis so that it will be come from top from top to its original position, as you can see. So let me add some more span tags inside this with this vertical line. Let me copy this and paste it here as well as here. So now if you see the output, these vertical lines are coming, but they are not visible clearly. Let's increase the font size of this vertical line as well as color from black to white. Since our span tags are inside this nav, you can simply use nav and then span. After that, let's change the color from black to white and then increase the font size, which is given to our anchor text, which is 20 pixels. So now if you see the output, they are coming clearly. But as you can see, they are not vertically centered. Like they are not in same line. So to make that equally centered vertically, since all our span tags and anchor tags are inside this navbar, you can go to inside this navbar and just make align items to be centered so that all the elements inside our nav are vertically centered. Now as you can see, everything comes vertically centered inside our header. So now let's make animations for this vertical lines as well. So first of all, let's select all the span tags inside our JavaScript file by using, let's create a variable called some lines, and inside this I'm going to select all the span tags by using document dot query select all property, and then here we have to specify the tag. I'm going to specify its span. So after that, let's copy this and then paste it here. Replace these links with lines, and then let's make this come from left to right by using X. So after that, let's make the stagger to be 1 second so that it will look good, I think. As you can see, first this home coming, after that vertical line is coming, home, oh, first it is coming. Let's make the delay to be 2. Now let's check. The first home is coming and then line and then skills and then line and then achievements and this vertical line. As you can see, if I refresh it, first home is coming and then this. Okay, it's looking good, right? So now let's add some animation to this button. Like if I hover on this VC button, we are going to display some background color. So for that, I'm going to go inside the JavaScript file and then use GSAP dot timeline function. So let's store this inside a variable called hover timeline or anything you want. I'm just giving it as hover timeline. So inside this timeline function, we have so many functions. So since our timeline is inside our hover timeline variable, we can use all the functions which are inside this timeline by using this hover timeline variable. So now inside this, I'm going to use a function called dot to, and then inside the first parameter will be HTML element we want. Since we want to add animation to this button, let's give a name for this like CV. Now let's select this button inside our JavaScript tag and store it inside a variable like CV button. So inside this, let's select that button with class name CV by using document.query selector. So now our CV button variable is representing this button with class name CV. So inside this, let's add the CV button, and then second parameter will be an object. So since we want to add a background color, once we hover on this button, we can use background and then use linear gradient, and then I'm going to use to right. So from left to right, I'm going to display some light blue color with this hexacode, and then it should be 100%. Then add a black color with 0%, and then so we have to specify this linear gradient value as string. Not it is a string in our JavaScript file, so we have to write those inside this inverted commas. So after that, have some duration of 0.5 seconds. So this background color will appear in 0.5 seconds. So now if you see the output, we are getting this animation by default, you can see. But we want to display this color only after hovering on this. Since we want to only add this animation after hovering, we have to go inside this timeline function. Inside this, we have to add an object and add this property called paused and give the value as true. So now those styles will not be applied. You can see our CSS styles are applied now. Our CSS styles for button are this color and they are appearing, right. So we want to display this color once we are hover on this button. So for that, since our button is inside the CV button, we have to add CV button and then use add event listener, and inside this the first parameter will be, since we want to add the animation after we hover on this button, so the property for this is mouse enter. So once mouse enter on the CV button, the second parameter will be a callback function, and inside this we have to call this variable hover timeline, and then we have to use a function called dot play. So enter the button once we enter our cursor in this button, these styles will be applied. So if you can see, so if I hover on it, you can see the blue color is appeared now. But once we didn't hover on this button, we want to display this CSS files again. So for that, again we have to use this, copy it and then paste it. So we have to change the event from mouse enter to mouse leave. So once mouse leave this CV button, we have to use a function called reverse. So reverse means it will go to its original style, which is this background color. So now if I hover on this, you can see that that style from the GSAP is applying. If I remove the hovering, you can see how CSS styles are applying. It's looking good, right? So if you want the styles from top to bottom, you have to use bottom here. So now if I hover on it from top to bottom, those color will be applied. You can see. So if you want from bottom to top, you can simply use top here, so that from bottom to top those styles will be applied once we hover on it. As you can see, it's looking good, right? So you can simply use these animations. You can simply add those animations by using this GSAP functions. But if you want to add these animations using CSS, it will be difficult, right? So that is the use of GSAP. You can simply add animations using some properties which are provided by this GSAP library. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.